I'm a Toronto-based videographer, and today I want to show you how I streamline an entire video workflow using a mix of tools and some AI tricks that actually save me hours. I'll walk you through my process from brainstorming to publish, covering pre-production, shooting, and post, showing exactly where I plug in smart tools. I'm not trying to sell you on every shiny app out there. I'm just sharing what works for me so you can create faster and enjoy the process more. So let's start with pre-production, because for me, ideas usually come out best when I just talk them out loud without filtering anything. I use a dictation app on my phone that quickly transcribes those long voice notes, turning messy talking into tidy, usable paragraphs. That first pass is all about getting everything out of my head without overthinking or stopping to edit anything. Later on, I'll refine that raw text into something structured that's ready for a proper script or slide notes. Once I have that initial transcription, the next critical step is pushing it into a system where it becomes both searchable and neatly organized. I personally route these transcriptions to my email and then into my preferred dedicated notes application for safekeeping. The whole point here is to have one reliable, central place where all my initial ideas live as clean, paragraph-style text. From that solid base, I can finally start tweaking the wording, cutting out any repetition, and thinking about the core structure. I focus on identifying the main takeaways and deciding which segments would make for a strong visual moment. At this stage, I heavily lean on small text automation tools to handle repetitive tasks. I've used text expansion apps for years to store prompts or formatting snippets, so I never have to rewrite the same instructions repeatedly. A pattern I use constantly is asking a large language model to transform my raw notes into a concise slide plan, usually targeting about 10 to 15 slides. Each of those generated slides needs a clear headline followed by exactly 3 essential bullet points. This process gives me a flexible skeleton that allows me to speak naturally, but is structured enough to guide an on-camera run-through perfectly. When I receive that slide outline, I immediately format everything using the simple structure of Markdown. I choose Markdown because it's incredibly portable, and many presentation tools can ingest those files cleanly without wasting my time fiddling with complex layouts. I separate each intended slide with a simple divider line and use headers for titles and bullets for the 3 main ideas per slide. This clean formatting lets me quickly paste the whole structure into a Markdown-based presenter to preview the entire talk in mere seconds. From there, I export those slides to my final presentation application, often passing through a couple of conversions first. I usually end up in Keynote because I prefer its animation engine and superior final export quality. Once in Keynote, I pick a subtle template and a simple animation style, like a gentle cube or slide-over effect, to keep things professional. I then export the entire animated deck as a single, high-quality movie file for my next step. I generally favor a high bitrate ProRes export, or ProRes LT if I'm trying to save significant disk space, because it ensures smoother color grading later. Moving on to the actual shooting phase, I use those animated slides as a background or as supporting cutaway footage while I film myself talking. Since I already have the structured slides and bullet points prepared, I never script every single word for the on-camera portion. I just use the on-screen bullets as natural prompts, which results in a much more conversational delivery and keeps the pace feeling energetic. For initial edit preparation, I do a very quick pass in my preferred non-linear editor, which is usually Final Cut Pro on my Mac. During this pass, the main tasks are syncing all the audio and video tracks, trimming out any obviously bad takes, and applying a light color correction if I shot using a flat profile. I'll convert the footage to the standard Rec. 709 color space and apply a small look, often using a trusted plugin or two to maintain a consistent vibe across all clips. Finally, I export a high-quality H.264 or ProRes file that serves as the clean master for the next stage of refinement. Here is where artificial intelligence really starts to speed up the editing process by using transcript-based tools. Video editors that generate transcripts and allow you to edit the video simply by editing the text are absolute lifesavers for pacing. I run the talking head clip through one of these apps and let the AI automatically detect and mark all the filler words and any awkward long pauses. After accepting those suggestions following a quick skim, this simple action shaves minutes, sometimes even hours, off the total editing time. After the text edit is done, I bring the clean talking head clip, the animated slide movie, and all the supporting visual assets back into Final Cut Pro. I deliberately work to create a strong visual rhythm throughout the video, cutting to slides, showing full-frame images, and zooming in on callouts to keep the viewer completely locked in. To source those visuals, I brainstorm image concepts directly from my prepared slide bullets. I'll have an LLM quickly generate 10 to 20 different visual concepts based on those bullets, ranging from simple metaphors to clear icons or bold graphics. Sometimes I create those supporting graphics myself, but other times I utilize generative image tools just enough to add variety without overproducing the final piece. A key pro tip I learned is to never overload your visuals with text, as the images should always complement your message instead of just repeating it verbatim. Another useful habit is to create a few alternate images or clips for every major idea so you can A/B cut in the edit and keep the pacing feeling incredibly fresh. Next up is compositing, where Final Cut's built-in masking and keying tools make it effortless to isolate me from the background. I can then easily layer those animated presentation slides behind or right beside my talking head footage. I often maintain two separate timelines, one where I am interacting with the slides, and another where I am full screen for maximum emphasis. I cut between these two versions liberally to add dynamic variety to the screen real estate. Remember to keep all your transitions simple and consistent, because fancy motion graphics don't always translate to better viewer engagement. Once the main edit is shaping up nicely, I export the timeline again and run it back through the transcript tool to generate crucial metadata. This metadata includes useful chapter markers, a concise descriptive summary, and a solid draft for the YouTube description box. Creating that title, description, chapters, and suggested tags used to be a 20 to 30-minute slog for me, but now it's just a few minutes of review and final tweaks. Those transcript tools also frequently suggest social media captions or precise timestamps that are ready to copy and paste directly into your content management system. This next part is where specialized tools truly shine, especially when repurposing long-form videos into bite-sized content that creators often burn too much time on. The strength of these dedicated repurposing tools is that they automatically find the punchiest, most shareable moments likely to perform well as shorts, reels, or TikToks. Instead of spending hours manually scrubbing footage to find those viral-worthy snippets, the machine learning surfaces the best bits for you to quickly approve. What I appreciate most about a continuous system is the workflow continuity it provides over chaining many different one-off applications together. While transcription editors and image AIs are fantastic for their specific jobs, they don't schedule and publish the final content for you. A good repurposing platform not only identifies the best clips, but can also auto-schedule them across all platforms on autopilot once you set your initial rules. That automation saves immense mental bandwidth by removing the weekly pressure of deciding when and what to post across every channel. Furthermore, the integrated content calendar feature gives you a single, efficient view of everything that is scheduled, posted, and upcoming. Many competing platforms are solid at one key function, like clip selection or analytics, but they often fall short on that essential end-to-end delivery. I do want to give a quick heads up on tool limitations so you can avoid potential frustration in your own setup. Generative image tools are amazing, but they can be hit or miss for specific branded graphics and often require some manual cleanup after generation. Transcript editors excel at removing filler words, but they sometimes miss subtle contextual nuance, meaning a quick human skim is always a wise final step. Scheduling tools that only focus on posting often lack the creative clip selection features needed to make the content engaging in the first place. That's why pairing a transcript editor, your main NLE, and a dedicated repurposing tool provides the strongest, fastest pipeline without too many painful context switches. After the repurposing tool extracts the clips, I always do one final polish pass to tweak intros and ensure the automatically selected thumbnail frames look professional. Thumbnails are a whole discussion on their own, but generally, a clean headline paired with a bold, clear face tends to outperform a visually busy image. For my main long-form uploads, I create a highly polished thumbnail, but I use a slightly different crop or version for the short clips so they stand out distinctly in the feed. By the time all this is scheduled, I have one master video, dozens of well-formatted short clips, all the necessary captions, chapter markers, and a content calendar, ensuring consistent presence everywhere. This whole system isn't magic. It's simply about combining the right tools in a way that minimizes repetitive, boring work and maximizes the time I spend on actual creativity. If you want to replicate this workflow, the TLDR is capture ideas via dictation, convert notes into a 10-15 slide skeleton, animate and export that as a video, shoot your talking head, prune filler words with an AI editor, assemble everything, suggest visuals with AI, and then use a repurposing tool to extract and schedule the short-form content. If you enjoyed this rundown and want a deep dive on a specific step, like my Keynote export settings or my favorite text snippets, drop a comment below and I will make a follow-up video. And if you found genuine value in this workflow breakdown, please take a moment to like and subscribe, as it helps me justify making more detailed process videos. Thanks so much for watching, and happy creating! Let the smart tools handle the boring logistics so you can focus on making better stuff, faster.